Hello everyone, my name is Murloc and this is Raid of Shadows. In the previous video I was talking about the Christmas fusion, the festive champions added and the Christmas champions added to the game, and I mainly been rushing through the rares and uncommons added to the game. Not all of them part of the fusion, so keep in mind, not all of these only news, there are some others. In this one particular one I want to go through the legendary and epic champions added to the game. So I quickly start to it. I don't want to longer. The previous video I expected to do like a little bit shorter. It's still okay time, but a little bit long. So not wasting time, I think here we got at least yeah, so basically let's talk all of them. So Archmage Helmut is a Doom Tower exclusive champion. He is sick. You can get him to completing secret rooms in the Doom Tower normal mode. Yeah, he's epic, so he's coming from normal mode. He's the first champion you can actually put together and reverse your time. He has like one enemy attack fills this champion turn meter, but then 10% fills turn meter, 20% if the attack critical. Definitely will book him out. Well, actually, like build him with 100% critical. Let's say it's 20%. That's A1, which is cool. The second one, attack one enemy, also attacks all other enemies if the first attack is critical. Like I said, 100% crit, so that would be one enemy, and after that, everyone else. Each hit has 50% chance placing a stun debuff for one turn, like AoE stun basically. After attacking, decrease the turn meter of each enemy without a stun debuff by 20%. So you do your attack, AoE, whoever is not stunned is like turn meter control again. So nice free turn cooldown. I love it. The third one is absolutely a beast. Free turn cooldown is places 30% increase speed, 30% increase crit rate. So you don't need to, if you rely on this skill, you don't need to build him with 100%. It's enough just 70% because the 30% he will give himself anyway, and beyond that is giving 30% increased crit damage buff on all allies, himself included, every free turn for 2 turns. So solid. He has a nice defense, a little bit lower attack, decent HP, nice HP, and decent speed. So it's cool. He has a passive. He cannot be manipulated like turn meter wise. So there is no turn meter decrease effects on him, and he has an arena battle 17% ally speed. So he's a speedster, speed lead, nice guy, very nice. Second one, Alaric the Hoodie is part of the fusion, is one of the epic you can fuse. He's an epic. His defense is pretty low. However, he has very decent attack and HP wise and speed wise okay, I would say. A1, attack one enemy has 30% chance to decrease the target turn meter by 75%. Okay. Decrease the turn meter by 33% for each buff on the target. Okay, so let's say 3, it's 9, it's 16.5%. A1, not bad. Attack one enemy has 50% chance of removing 2 random buffs from the target before attacking. So, well, it makes him interesting for me. 3 turn cooldown, you hit someone, you steal 2 buffs. Has 75, well, actually just remove. Has 75% chance stealing 2 buffs instead if it has 4 or more buffs. This is very situational. Many times you won't see an enemy with full buffed or just 3, so definitely you remove 2, but stealing, it's optional. It's very situational. If you can steal, then cool, you might steal, I don't know, something useful for yourself. And on his A3 4 turn cooldown, attack all enemies, has 75% chance placing a decreased attack and 50% so the big decrease accuracy debuff on all enemies for 2 turn. Decreased accuracy recently is like a new spotted debuff. Actually, it's alright. It's cool. Again, the spiderlings, for example, it works very well. Less poison you will have, and it's just a good debuff. And it has a faction creep 29. So definitely worth to get for the faction war crypts if you don't have a Bannerlord, decrease attack, decrease defense if you don't have, like I said, Bannerlords. Who else? Who else? Who else? I think, yeah, we talked about the rest of them. There was no legendary released. Okay, I hope I'm not missing out. I know there was one with, oh no, yeah, Gerhardt Stone. He's another Bannerlord's fusible champion, epic champion. He's interesting. He has a decent speed, decent defense, even more decent attack. His A1 is 15% chance placing a stun debuff for 1 turn on an enemy, and it's increasing if the enemy has more than 75% turn meter, then it's increasing to 50% if you book him out. A1, alright. Places 30%, so the big increased critical rate and increased critical damage buff on this champion. Then attack an enemy, so before attack it puts crit rate, crit damage and smack. We'll ignore 25% defense on a basic level, but if the enemy has an increased defense on him, and then he will ignore 50% instead of 25 on a free turn cooldown. If he hits hard, it's pretty decent again. And he has a passive, which is interesting because he's immune to fear, freeze, provoke, sleep, and stun debuffs, though every free turn. So yeah, he probably has a place somewhere, and he has a Doom Tower resist by 50% increased aura, so yeah, it's okay. I would say okay. High elves. So we have Pixnil, the legendary. The only thing I don't like about her, she's not trash, but she's not that good. And if you're a free-to-play player, you need to consider: do you want to really sacrifice that much resources and those champions? You already seen some of them is pretty amazing just to get her. She is like playing with the freeze, so she has a whale on her A1. She put on a random ally, 30% chance, put out of 50, so somebody gets a whale. Whale is decrease the damage you're getting, places an increased defense and 15% heal on all allies, then attacks all enemies under the freeze debuffs, places 25% weaken debuffs for the enemies who is under freeze. Again, free turn cooldown, nice AoE attack. The third one, this one I don't like. It's a pretty inconsistent. Attacks three times at random. So if you go on PvP, someone 100% would be frozen. You have 50% chance to freeze the enemies, but if you hit somebody twice and you hit 5 times, then it's 100% chance to freeze those guys. So it's kind of freeze, but it's a lot of books to book out. And she has a passive, which means you have 20% still freeze, and instead, if some of your allies get a freeze, you have 20% to steal it and put on herself. 25% chance to filling this champion turn meter with 25% every time they receive a freeze. They receive freeze. I think she might talking about the allies. Yeah, so has 25% chance filling this turn meter by 25% every time they receive a freeze debuff. It would be nice to know who are they. I guess maybe my allies. So they get a freeze. She has a turn meter fill. Has a 35% chance to remove any freeze debuffs from this champion at the start of every turn, which could be moved out to 50%. And if there are multiple champions with this skill, then it's only one who will activate the passive. And she has a arena battles resist 8%. So decent attack, decent defense, very okay. So okay health, decent speed. Yeah. So she's the legendary you can fuse. Beyond that, you have, I think, yeah. So no one else. If I miss someone, please let me know in the comment. So elves, Sacred Order. Sacred Order, they got, I think, no legendaries, but epic wise they have Inquisitor Shamael or Samuel or Shamel, I don't know, Shamel. So okay health, high attack, a little bit low defense, decent speed. Is an epic, void epic. Attack one enemy has 50% chance of decreased duration of random buff on the target by 1 turn. Counterattacks with this skill each time an enemy places a debuff on an ally. So that's nice. These counterattacks will only deal 50% of the normal damage. It cannot be critical. I take it. So basically, anytime you got debuffed, any of your Pal is gonna shoot the enemy, and with every attack, 50% chance, which could be 75% if you book him out, to decrease one of the random buff by 1 turn. So yeah, he's taking. It's not like ripping off the buffs, but it's decently probably decrease the turn on those buffs, and they will just worn off. Okay, Core of the Horrors, level 1, so it's like on 3 turn cooldown. He attacks one enemy 3 times, which is nice. Ignore 25% target's defense. Will ignore 25% more for each buff on this champion. You buff him out, it could be 100%. Yeah? 3 buffs on this champion is already means with this attack 3 times with 100%. Ignore defense, which is cool, and place a true fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn if this attack kill an enemy. So just, I don't know, shoot down someone and everyone has getting a true fear. Places, yeah, so they're getting it 100%. Each critical hit fills this champion turn meter by 7.5%. This is his passive, so you probably build him out anyway with 100% crit rate, so every hit. Don't forget, this one, I think, if you counterattacks, it's considered like a hit, so it's gonna just continuously getting turn meter feel back. Yeah, whenever an ally receives a fear or a true fear debuff, this skill will instantly remove the debuff and fill the ally's turn meter by 15%. So basically, he will protect you against fear and true fear in arena. It could be Madame Ceres and some of those very annoying champions is a counter, and a very good counter, I would say. He is, I think, a very good champion. And he has accuracy in Doom Tower battles 60. So I think he's a very decent. If you can get him, please let me know how hard he hits. Beyond that, I think I don't have any more. Yeah, just make sure I'm not missing anyone out. Barbarians, they got, I think, one legendary, and Jakal or Yakal the Scourge or Scourge. I heard his name pronounced like different way, so sorry if I pronounce it not in proper way. I think he's a very strong champion. He's quite OP. He's playing with Priest as well. Okay HP, very high attack, low defense, and okay speed. On A1, he's 2 times hitter, each hit placing a freeze device for 1 turn. Will ignore shield if there are 1 or more enemies under freeze debuffs. Will ignore block damage also if there are 2 or more enemies under freeze, and will ignore 30% of target defense if there are 3 or more enemies under the freeze. Decent. A2, attack one enemy has 75% chance placing decrease speed debuff for 3 turns, and 75% placing a freeze debuff for 1 turn. It can be booked out 100% on 1 enemy. Also, this one is really nice. Steals 100% the target's turn meter and place 30% increased speed buff on this champion for 3 turns. On 3 turn cooldown, so basically continuously can put on himself increase speed, keep on himself, and also decrease speed debuff on the enemy, which is pretty cool. 4 turn cooldown Glaciate, attacks 3 times the enemy. If the target under freeze debuff, remove the debuff after the attack and place it on all enemies except the initial target. Also attack all enemies except the initial target after the 3rd hit. So he hit 3 times someone, remove the freeze if he had, put on everyone else, and after that attack all of them except the except the one he attacked originally. The freeze debuff will be placed on all other enemies, even if the initial target dies before the freeze debuff would be removed. So no problem, you kill him and then put the freeze and then attack them. And he has a passive. The passive I think is really good. Decrease the damage this champion receives by 10% and increase the damage this champion inflicts by 10% if there are one or more enemies under the freeze. So continuous 10% more damage and less damage to get. Yeah. Increase the champion's speed by 15 and resist by 50 if there are 2 or more enemies under freeze debuffs. And he has an active aura. So active passive, if I can say that, which activates. It's on a 5-turn cooldown, and basically, if there are 3 or more enemies under freeze, he put on himself for 2 turn and unkillable. Interesting. And he has all ally has 43% attack in Doom Tower, which is pretty nice. We got here one. I think that's it. I think they just got that. And I don't see anyone else who should be new here. Yep. So I think he's quite strong champ. Ogren Tribes. Yeah, they got the Grinch. Well, Grange Killjoy is a bomb champion. One enemy, 40% chance block buffs. Debuff for 1 turn on A1. Insane lots of books. Required to book him out. A2 AoE has 50%, which could be 70%, placing a bomb debuff on everyone, and that detonates after 1 turn. So they got turn is blow up. Removes all debuffs from all allies, and then plays a 15% continuous heal buff for 1 turn on each ally for every debuffs removed from them. So that's kind of cool heal. And it has a passive, fills the turn meter of all allies by 10% whenever a bomb debuff detonates on an enemy. That's quite cool. Well, I hope this bomb meta would eventually work, because I think it could be interesting in there. Yeah, it looks amazing. Decent HP, low, well, kind of okay attack and okay defense and nice speed, so decent speed. Beyond that, I think we don't have any more in this category. Lizardman's got one new epic. Orcs the Rememberer. Someone said he looks like Jar Jar Binks. I tend to agree with that. It really looks like Jar Jar Binks. A1 attacks enemy 2 times. He has 20% chance to placing poison. Okay. Attacks one enemy, heal all allies by 20% of their max HP, booked out 3 turn cooldown, and heal extra 2.5% for each debuff on the target. Okay. So attack enemy, heal all allies. Heals each ally, but okay, so if the enemy has a lot of debuffs, then you even heal more. Places a decrease attack debuff on all enemies for 2 turns, also has 75% chance decreasing each enemy's turn meter by 20%. Okay, it's booked out 100, so bit nice. Places 30% critical rate debuff on the target for 2 turns if they have 50% or more turn meter after the turn meter decrease. So basically, if they still to getting their turn and you decrease their critical rate, absolutely decent. 3 turn cooldown, AoE, nice. And he has a passive, increase the duration of 2 random debuffs on the attacker by 1 turn, 1 attacked, occurs once per hit. So basically, you can extend the debuffs on an enemy, and your heal is based on debuffs on the enemy. So it might be your healer against the clan boss. And he has accuracy increase in Doom Tower by 60% aura. Really nice, really nice. I think there is no one else added in here. Let's go Skinwalkers. Skinwalkers, they don't have, I think, anyone added. Epic and Legendary wise, yep. Orcs. Orcs, they have Gomlok Skyhide. He's a fusible legendary, a Doom Tower specific dude. Attack one enemy, has 50% chance placing a leech debuff on for 2 turns. Nice, A1 leech is always okay. Has 50% chance placing leech debuff for 2 turns on random enemies if this champion has full. Even better, A1, decent, okay. Attack one enemy, has 60% chance of stealing 2 random buffs from the target. Absolutely alright, stealing. And it could be booked out 100% steal on 2 turns. So he's just boom someone, hit someone and steal 2 random buffs. Also has 60% chance decreasing the target's turn meter, booked out again 100%, by 50%, or steal 50% of target's turn meter instead if this champion on full HP. Full HP, he gets more turns. Nice. Again, 2 turn cooldown. Attack all enemies 2 times, 2 times AoE hitter, which is nice on 4 turn cooldown. Each hit has 100% booked out chance to placing big decreased defense debuff on all enemies for 2 turns. The first hit on each target also has 75, so 100%, decreasing the target's turn meter by 10%. Nice. And the second hit is also has 100% if booked out, if placing 25% weaken for 2 turns if this champion is on full HP. So this guy should be kept on full HP, then he has lots of benefits. Very good HP, very good base stats, attack, defense, and very good speed. And he has a passive and enchanter. Whenever 4 or more buffs are placed on an enemy team in a single turn, places a shield buff on this champion for equal 15% of this champion max HP for 2 turns. Cool. Oh, so basically when they move themselves up, he's actually getting a shield. That's it. Very, very nice, very nice. I think he's a very interesting champion. There is no one else in Orc faction. There is 5 more left, and probably it's not shorter than the previous video, even longer. Sorry for that. No one else in Legendary, and I think we had this one, Achek the Wandering. Sick look. I don't even know what kind of creature is he. Kind of like I don't know, horn demon. Very good HP, a little bit low attack, okay defense, okay speed. Devour all hope, lots of books again. Attack one enemy, has 30% chance, decrease the duration of one random buff if the target under HB burn. And also have 30% chance decrease the target turn meter if they under freeze on A1. Nice. Places a block debuff for all allies for 1 turn and 25% strength buff on all allies for 2 turns. On 4 turn cooldown, that's a nice one. It's okay. On 3 turn cooldown, he has an AoE attack, has 90%, right? Chance to place a freeze debuff for 1 turn on enemies whose attack higher than their defense, and the same 90% chance placing HP burn if somebody has a defense equal or higher than their attack. So if somebody defense based, HP burn, somebody attack based, freeze. Makes sense. And he has a passive, heal all allies by 5% of their max HP every time an enemy under HP burn debuff gets a turn. So defensive champion moves, and damage, you get heal. And turn meter again 10% every time an enemy under freeze moves. So somebody frozen, move, boom, 10% for everyone. Pretty cool. Increase ally defense in all battles by 25%. I think it is again a very interesting champion. We have here Aqua the Seared. Is a Doom Tower specific epic. Molten Punch, decrease critical rate, nice. Attack all enemies, 20% chance, HP burn debuff for 2 turn. And the chance of placing the debuff increased by 20% for each enemy alive. Okay. Attack all enemies. Has 50% chance increase cooldown skill by 2 turns on enemies under HP burn. That's actually pretty sick. because he can lock you out of your skills. If he puts you on HP burn on enemy, it's just like controlling them very. So they basically would have just A1. Also place a shield buff equal to 20% of this champion max HP and OI. So shield champion as well is pretty sick. And he has Fiery Swat, has 10% chance of placing Fear debuff on enemy for 1 turn whenever they receive damage from HP burn debuff placed on themselves. Alright, so Fear everything, it's quite sick, dude. It looks amazing, his skill set is okay. That was, yeah, name spawn undead. So many champions released, I can't even get through in time on them. Okay, so there are 2 of them. Let's start with others. The Soul Cage is Doom Tower specific legendary. Doom Tower hard mode, secret rooms. You will have the fragments from them. I'm not sure it's the starting, so the first one you can fuse. Attack one enemy, place a shield buff, a champion equal 10% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns, and the shield value can be increased by 1% for each poison the debuff on the target. So nice. Alright. Attack all enemies has 75% chance to decreasing the turn meter by 15% under 1 more poison. Also has 75% chance of placing 30% decreased speed buff if there are 2 or more. So turn meter decrease if there is 1 or more, 2 or more it's decreased speed, and if there are 3 or more poison, then it's a stun, AoE stun. So that's quite strong. Every free turn he has a soul bounty, which is place a strengthen buff on all allies for 2 turns and 50% ally protection buff on all allies except this champion, which is actually sick. Protects them and it gives them strengthen every 3 turns. Pretty strong, if you ask me. When attacked, is his passive. Call of the Cage. When attacked, has 50% chance placing 5% debuff on the attacker for 2 turns. So poison. Yeah, and his skills works with poison very well. Whenever an ally attacked while under strengthened buff, has a 50% chance of placing a provoke debuff on the attacker. So whoever attacks your allies is gonna next turn attack you, and you probably put on them some poison. Increase this champion max HP by 5% whenever an enemy receives damage from a poison debuff placed by this champion. Whenever an enemy receives damage from a poison debuff placed by this champion, also decreases their max HP. So every single time your poison you put on the enemy is damage them, you get 5% max HP and they lose 5% HP. And max HP gain, it can be more than 25%. It won't decrease the boss's max HP and cannot increase this champion max HP than 50%. Still decent, and there's lots of chance to get that. He has in all battles resist by 80. Nice, but this is my favorite so far. Released the champion, Necro The Great. I'm anyway, somehow I always into the undeads, so I'm happy they are releasing more and more undeads. I'm a little bit sad they're not releasing more and more dwarves, okay? So Necro The Great looks sick. Look at that belly. That 6-pack, yeah? Okay, A1, attack an enemy 3 times. 3-time hitter, really nice. He has 30% chance placing 50% decreased attack, so and this effect cannot be resisted. You don't need accuracy. You just hit them and you probably put that decrease attack for 1 turn, obviously. Only just 1 turn. Legion of the Damned teams up with allies to attack 1 enemy. All allies under ally protection buff placed by this champion will join to the attack. Allies joining to the attack will use their default skills. Grants an extra turn if this attack does not kill the target. So you smack someone, he's not dead, you're getting another turn. It's every 4 turn you can do ally attack. Okay. Disturbing Infusion. 3 turn cooldown places a block debuffs buff of 50% ally protection and 25 strength buff on an ally for free turn. Alright, free turn cooldown. Every free turn you will protect someone. The ally protection buff cannot be removed. Nice. Make them stronger, protect them, block debuffs so they can't be debuffed, like can't be provoked, can't be anything. So this is a full package, protection package in one. Then he has two passives. Unsleeping Aegis. Whenever an ally attacked while under an ally protection buff placed by this champion places a shield buff on that ally equal to 30% of this champion's max HP for 2 turns. Okay. Protect them, they got hit, you got even further defenses. Because only if the ally does not already have a shield buff placed by this champion. But it doesn't say you can't protect them with someone else's shield. Yeah, so this shield would be additional one. Also decreases the cooldown of the champion's Legion of the Damned skill by 2 turns if the shield buff is placed. So somebody ally attack, you put the shield and decrease the skill, which is Legion of the Damned. Yeah, nice synergy. Someone you protecting been attacked, you decrease the Legion of the Damned, which is decrease the turn meter of your ally attack. Nice. The second passive, Rise My Minion, places a block debuff, a 25% strength buff for 3 turns on the ally with the lowest max HP at the start of each round. So somebody smacked too hard, he's gonna protect additionally. And also place a 50% ally protection buff for 6 turns. So eventually you would protect, I imagine this guy would protect the whole team. Whoever would be attacked is gonna decrease his ally attack skill and he's gonna smack back with all of those guys. And he's putting out shields. So this dude is disgusting, and he also blocks debuffs for 3 turns and gives them strength, which is one of the strongest buff exist in the game. And he also have an all resist in all battles by 60. So this dude is sick. I think he's one of the OP champion right now in the game. That's my prediction. He would be used in class bond teams, probably clan boss teams. Many. Oof. I wish I would have him. And he's a void, so he should be strong. His HP is very high. He has a little bit lower attack, but he doesn't need because he's a defensive champion. Decent defense and okay speed. So this guy is sick. Strong. And there is one more added. Epic Baltic Druglord is one of the fusion champion. He has one target attack, like has 30% placing a decreased attack debuff, 40% okay on A1 attack all enemies, has 75 booked 100% chance on 3 turn cooldown decrease the critical rate debuff for 2 turns. Critical rate decrease, welcome. Attack one enemy, has 70 booked out 100% chance to provoke. So one enemy 100% chance to provoke debuff for 2 turns. Also heal these champions by 20% of their max HP. Okay, on 4 turn cooldown, and he has reflect damage, basically passive, 30%, and he has a crypt faction defense, all ally defense, or okay. HP is a defense based guy, so he's pretty tanky. Yeah, cool. I think he's pretty cool guy. No more undeads, I think. Thanks God, not so many left. Dark Elves. Yes, we have Ryan the Conjurer. He's synergized very well with the Magma guy and Urus the Soul Cage. So on his A1, attacks one enemy, has 50% chance block buffs, debuffs for 2 turns. Pretty cool A1. Has 75 chance, booked out 100% chance and 3 turn cooldown. Chance to remove all buffs from enemies, ripping their all buffs. Boom. Also has 75% chance placing a weaken debuff on all enemies. So basically ripping their buffs off and makes them weaker. That's really nice ability. And his third one is a revive. So he's revive an dead alive by with 50% HP, then fills their turn meter by 50%. Will also place a block debuffs buffs on them for 2 turns. So 50% HP, 50% turn meter, and block debuffs. And also revive additionally Echo the Seared or Aros the Soul Cage with 30% HP if they are in the same team, and give them 30% turn meter after reviving if they are not the target. If you're not reviving specifically them, additionally he will revive them if they are on team. If you actually want to revive Akkad the Seared or Aros the Soul Cage, then in that case they will having 50% HP and 50% turn meter and block debuffs as well on 4 turn cooldown. So it's pretty sick guy, yeah? Increase ally accuracy in all battles by 40%. Nice elf. Dark elf. There is no one else in here, I think. Yep. We are finishing soon. In here, I think we didn't. Yeah. Tia the Tomb Angel. She's one Doom Tower specific champion. I think she's very strong as well. Decent HP, decent attack, very good attack, a little bit low defense, and the speed is not that high, so it's kind of low speed. A1, attack 2 times at random, has 75% booked out, 100% placing Hex. Hex is a new. Well, it's not a new debuff, but it's the first champion who has a Hex debuffs for 5 turns. These debuffs cannot be resisted, so it's getting on you anyway. Each critical hit decreases the cooldown of Native this word skill by 1. Native this word skill is on 5 turn cooldown. Place a perfect veil buff on this champion for 3 turn, grants an extra turn. So every single time you hit a critical, you would closer and closer to put on yourself a defensive buff, the perfect veil. On her A2, every 5 turn cooldown, she has an AoE. Damage increased by 50% for each Hex debuff on the enemy team. Stacks up to 300%. Removes all Hex debuffs from all enemies after attacking. So it's a huge AoE scale, probably hits really hard for every Hex you put, and don't forget it's for 5 turns. You're putting for 5 turns on enemies. So 300% extra increase in damage is probably just kill someone or nuke everyone down. And yeah, she has a passive. Cruel Angel has 50% chance placing a true fear debuff on all enemies for 1 turn when an enemy loses 30% or more than max HP in a single hit. I guess what you need to do, you need to put on her destruction set, so she would be able to rip off max HP, and if it happens, then she would with her passive actually put true fear on everyone else, which is a nasty. She's pretty sick, she's pretty strong. I don't know how it works out because she needs to decrease max HP. Not just like kill them or something or hit big. No, she needs to decrease 30% max HP in one single hit. We have Rectordrath. She's a Night Remnant. She looks, I don't know, like a Tooth Fairy. Just like a Dark Ammo version from No Nightmares. Okay, so she's support champion, very good health, very good base stats, attack, defense, and very nice speed. So it's fast, really fast. She has attack 1 enemy, has 35% chance placing 50% decreased attack debuffs for 2 turns. It's booked for 50%, decrease attack, nice on A1. Second, heal all allies by 20%, which could be 30-40% of this champion's max HP. After healing, place the perfect will for 2 turns on allies with HP. You heal them full, put perfect well. If you don't heal them full, then put one 15% continuous heal. Really nice on 4-turn cooldown, so it's a nice heal. She has a revive on 4-turn cooldown, revives a single ally with 60% HP, fill their turn meter by 60%, and then places a perfect veil for 3 turns, which is a really nice defensive skill. Buff, really nice. And she has a passive. Whenever an ally under a veil or a perfect veil buff gets a turn, heals them by 10% of their max HP. Also increase their resistance by 50%. So if you pair them with another Veil champion, she's basically like a passive healer, 10%, and she has a big heal, revive, so she's amazing. And she has a Doom Tower resist 55 aura. I think there is no one else in this faction. And finally, the last one. Sorry, it's took for a while to get through of them. So we talked about the rares, and there is only one. Ragnar Goldgleam Void Epic Champion is really interesting, and finally a really good dwarf champion probably. So his A1 attacks one enemy, has 50% chance placing a leech debuff for 2 turns. Probably hits, well, it would be 60%. Leech is always good. Then Gold Mad Frenzy. Every free turn he is able to sacrifice 15% of his max HP, then fills this champion turn meter by 75%, almost getting an extra turn, I would say, and places a shield buff on this champion equal to 20% of their max HP for 3 turns. The shield buff cannot be removed. Also, the HP sacrifice will happen even if it's killed. So if you're not really aware, you can kill him, but it's very important. It's every free turn you can do it. Gleam of the Avarice. Every 4 turn, so on 4 turn cooldown, places an increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns, then attack enemy. So increases attack the enemy, has 75% chance placing 25% weaken debuff on the target for 2 turns. It's not clear, it's putting before or after, but probably after. So and also has 100%, if it's booked, chance to placing a decreased defense buff on the target for 2 turns before attack. So he's put at decreased defense, increases his increase, so basically increases his attack and smack the enemy. And after that he leaves a weaken on him every 4 turn. He has a okay HP, a high attack, and low defense, and okay speed. Well, actually it's a good speed, and this passive makes him very interesting. Decrease the cooldown of this champion's Gleam's Avarice, that's the previous skill, so increase attack, decrease defense, smack, leave the weaken by 1 turn every time. If this champion loses 15% HP. The HP loss is accumulated and tracked over multiple turns, attacks, or hits, and is not affected by healing or other HP increases. So, if I understand correctly, if you sacrifice your 15%, your cooldown decreases by 1. So it's on 4 turn cooldowns, it would be only 3 turn cooldown, yeah? But if I'm wrong, it's still strong. Decreases the cooldown. Yeah, that's why I understand. You could use it faster and faster and faster, I believe, which is cool. And he has a Doom Tower battles by 35%. I tried to finish fast this video because it's pretty long now. So he has all attack 35% increase in Doom Tower battles stuff. I think is a pretty solid champ. And that's all, guys. What's your opinion? Sorry if it's in longer. I cut it into half and still need to practice to speak faster, but this time my excuse, there is a lots of champion released at the same time or close to each other in a short time, and I think they are pretty good. So my opinion, Pixnil is not worth the time to fusing unless you want anyway complete her. It's much more focused on the epics you want to get. For example, this dwarf is sick, some of the rares are sick and can help you out. Happy Halloween, what I'm talking, happy Christmas fusion. I was Murloc and I was Raid Shadow Legends.